Sister-in-law's friend crashed our anniversary, flirted with my husband, and crossed the line. But the real drama unfolded after the party. It was a special day for my husband and me, our 10th wedding anniversary. We had planned a small gathering at our home with close family and friends, and we were both excited to celebrate. However, things took a strange turn when my sister-in-law's best friend, let's call her Amanda, showed up uninvited. Amanda had always been a bit clingy around my husband, but I never thought much of it. However, as soon as she walked into our home, I knew something was off. She gave me a slick smirk and made a beeline for my husband, who was greeting our guests. I tried to brush it off and enjoy the evening, but Amanda kept finding ways to be near my husband. She laughed a little too hard at his jokes, and I caught her giving him sultry looks out of the corner of my eye. I was starting to feel uneasy when I overheard her asking my husband if he wanted to go outside and get some fresh air. My husband politely declined, but I could see he was getting a little uncomfortable with Amanda's attention. As the night went on, Amanda became more and more aggressive in her pursuit of my husband. She kept touching his arm, trying to get him to dance with her, and even offered to help him clean up after the party. I didn't like the way she was acting, but I trusted my husband completely. I knew he loved me and would never do anything to hurt our relationship. Later that night, after most of our guests had left, my husband and I were sitting on the couch enjoying a quiet moment together. I was feeling relaxed until Amanda suddenly appeared out of nowhere. She had a sly grin on her face and made a snarky comment about our marriage. My husband didn't respond, and I could tell he was getting uncomfortable. Amanda kept pushing, trying to provoke a reaction from my husband. But he stayed loyal to me and told her firmly that he was happily married and had no interest in her advances. Amanda finally got the message and left our home, but the damage had already been done. I was hurt and confused by her behavior, but I was grateful that my husband had been loyal and faithful to me throughout the ordeal. We talked about what had happened and promised to always be honest and open with each other. It was a difficult experience, but it ultimately brought us closer together and strengthened our bond. The next day, I decided to talk to my sister-in-law about what happened at the party. I wanted her to know about Amanda's behavior, especially since she was her best friend. I approached her gently, not wanting to cause any unnecessary drama or hurt feelings. I explained what Amanda had done and how uncomfortable it had made both me and my husband. My sister-in-law was shocked and apologized profusely. She had no idea that her friend had acted that way, and she promised to talk to Amanda and set things straight. I could tell that she was sincere in her remorse, and it made me feel a lot better knowing that she was on my side. It also helped that my husband had been so supportive and loyal throughout the entire ordeal. After our conversation, I felt like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders. I knew that Amanda's behavior wasn't my fault, and that my relationship with my husband was strong enough to withstand any outside interference. In the end, Amanda's antics only made me appreciate my husband even more. He had stayed loyal and true to me even when faced with temptation, and that was something that I would always cherish and hold close to my heart. Update 1. My sister-in-law called me to update me on her conversation with Amanda. She told me that she had confronted her friend about her behavior at our anniversary party, and Amanda had been defensive at first, but eventually apologized. My sister-in-law was furious with Amanda for putting me and my husband in such an uncomfortable position. She told me that she had made it clear to Amanda that her behavior was unacceptable and that she would not tolerate any disrespect towards her family. I could hear the anger in her voice, and I appreciated her support and loyalty. She assured me that Amanda had been properly chastised and that she would make sure to keep her distance from me and my husband in the future. As much as I appreciated my sister-in-law's response, I couldn't help feeling a little sad about the whole situation. Amanda had been a longtime friend of my sister-in-law, and I knew that their relationship would never be the same. But at the end of the day, I knew that my husband and I were the most important people in each other's lives. And as for Amanda, well, she had learned her lesson the hard way. She may have caused drama at our anniversary party, but in the end, she had only succeeded in strengthening the bond between me and my husband and proving to us just how loyal we were to each other. Update 2. A few weeks have passed since the incident with Amanda, and things have started to settle down. My sister-in-law had kept a distance from her former best friend, and my husband and I had resumed our normal routine. But one day, out of the blue, I received a message from Amanda. It was an apology, but not the kind I was expecting. "I'm sorry for what happened at your anniversary party," she wrote. "But honestly, you're not even that great of a catch. Your husband probably just settled for you because he couldn't do any better. You should be grateful that I even showed interest in him." I was shocked and hurt by her words. I couldn't believe that someone who had once been a friend to someone so close to me could say something so cruel and mean-spirited. I showed the message to my husband, and he was just as outraged as I was. He couldn't believe that Amanda would stoop so low, and he was glad that he had cut ties with her. As much as Amanda's message had hurt me, I couldn't help but feel sorry for her. It was clear that she was coming from a place of insecurity and pain, and her words were just a reflection of her own internal struggles. So I decided to reply to her message, not with anger or defensiveness, but with a somewhat sympathetic tone. "I appreciate your apology, Amanda," I wrote. "And I understand that your upbringing must have been tough, with parents who never showed you any love or affection. It's no wonder you struggle with jealousy and insecurity in your relationships." I knew that my words would cut deep, but I couldn't help feeling a sense of satisfaction at finally getting the upper hand in the situation. "But you're wrong about one thing," I continued. "My husband didn't settle for me. He chose me because he loves me for who I am, my flaws and all. And that's something that you will never be able to understand because you're too busy trying to tear others down to feel good about yourself." I hit send, feeling a sense of relief wash over me. It wasn't the most mature response, but it felt good to stand up for myself and put Amanda in her place. In the end, I knew that Amanda's words didn't define me or my relationship with my husband. We were happy and in love, and nothing could change that. As for Amanda, well, I was content to let her go and move on with my life, surrounded by the people who truly loved and supported me. NTA. I feel really bad for OP and her husband. They didn't deserve to have their special day ruined like that, but I'm glad they were able to handle it with grace and dignity. Amanda seems to be a bit of a drama queen and an attention seeker. It's sad, but some people just can't handle not being the center of attention. NTA. Amanda's behavior is unacceptable, plain and simple. She should be ashamed of herself for trying to come between a married couple like that. It's not cute or funny, it's just sad. I think OP handled the situation well. She didn't let Amanda's behavior ruin her night, and she didn't stoop to her level when responding to her message. That takes a lot of maturity and self-control. Amanda has some serious issues that she needs to work through. I don't understand why Amanda would do something like this, especially to her best friend's family. What does she hope to gain from flirting with someone else's husband? It's just selfish and disrespectful. Amanda needs to learn some boundaries and respect. She can't just waltz into someone's event uninvited and start causing trouble. It's immature and shows a complete lack of social awareness. I think it's admirable that OP and her husband were able to move past this and not let it ruin their relationship. It shows that they have a strong and healthy marriage. Next story. My brother, 23, and I, 22 female, have raised our younger siblings together for the past few years. Both our parents have died. The kids' teachers know our situation and are generally pretty good about it, though we still get some comments at parents' evenings, and correspondence from school is often sent to Mr. and Mrs., our surname. We are used to it, and it's usually no big deal, sometimes pretty funny. What I did not find funny was my 14-year-old coming home from school saying he had a substitute teacher. The teacher works at the same school full-time, doesn't normally take any of our brother's classes. And as they took the register and saw his surname, the teacher said, "Another flowers in the attic kid. How many more of you are there?" Some of the kids laughed, most apparently didn't really get it, and our brother was embarrassed but also didn't get the reference. A bunch of the kids Googled it in their next break and were laughing about it later on in the day. This teacher has taught our 16-year-old previously for a year, so we had met them multiple times at parents' nights. She has since told me they made comments to her too. When my brother came home and told me what happened and asked me what flowers in the attic is, I was really pissed off. We have had several similar comments before, and I didn't find them funny, but it's next level out of order IMO to say something like that to a young teenager, let alone in front of classmates. I complained to the school about it the next day. I went in a little strong, but I was pissed. I met with the principal and a senior staff member, waiting over an hour for them to be free. I told them at the very least I don't want any of the kids being taught by that teacher ever again. I think it will be dealt with after Christmas break, because this was right at the end of their last week. I got the impression they will likely be fired. My older brother followed up with an email to back me up and create a record of it. We saw some friends yesterday and told them about the incident. They were horrified but berated me for complaining about it. They said it was a joke, and I may have just cost someone their job. They think I overreacted, and that it was pretty funny. They said, "Of course, people will make fit-A comments because my brother and I are close and affectionate. I don't feel that I should need to say that it would never be anything like that, but to be crystal clear, there is nothing remotely sexual about our relationship." Our 14-year-old has been pretty embarrassed about it ever since. For the first time ever, he asked me not to hug or kiss him when I drop him off to meet his friends. He's worried about kids bullying him when he goes back to school. ETA just spoke to our 16-year-old. She says she thinks it started after our first parents' night when this teacher met us and saw us interact. Most likely, we arrived separately, and my brother greeted me with a hug and a kiss on the cheek. I probably also had my youngest sister on my hip. Scandalous. 16-year-old says that might have given off family vibes. In reality, I was probably stressed as hell because I hate parents' night, and 16-year-old used to be a terror. Big bro was probably trying and failing to comfort me, lol. ETA 2, a lot of people seem to think the teacher is just a sub. They are full-time regular teachers at the school. They just subbed for this one class for my 14-year-old. NTA, what the heck was going through that teacher's head? That kind of joke is not only inappropriate and crass, but it made light of the fact that the kid is an orphan being raised by his siblings and opened up a floodgate for bullying. No one with that little social intelligence should be teaching children. Sadly, it looks like some people don't understand the damage the teacher did to your brother. Hopefully, he and his friends feel comfortable with the affection you and your brother give him after that teacher soured it for him. NTA. This person should not be a teacher. Joking about your parents' deaths and insinuating that you and your sibling are incestuous is utterly unprofessional, crass, and frankly, mind-blowing. They have implanted this idea into the heads of your brother's classmates. This is how people get bullied and become the subject of rumors that can have devastating effects on their life. He deserves to lose his job for being so callous. Life is hard enough without an adult rubbing salt in the wounds. Row 2, it sucks even more because besides his actual friends, 14-year-old does not make it public knowledge that he is being raised by his siblings. He doesn't want the attention or to have a million questions about it. He likes to blend in, so he refers to us as his mom and dad, and as far as anyone knows, his family is normal. Now that these kids all know the real situation, the mom and dad thing is even worse because it makes it sound like we've been acting like a married couple and that he actually causes that. He is dreading going back to school and having to face all the comments, questions, and jokes. I am praying he doesn't start getting bullied over it. Next story, I, 29 female, work afternoon shifts. I leave my house at the same time each weekday. Over the last 2 weeks, I've noticed an SUV with personalized plates parked just outside my house on the curb. Aussie spelling. I've lived in the same house for a few years. It's a quiet neighborhood. This car is not one I've seen here before. It appears at around 1 to 2 p.m. each day. It's always running, all the lights on, and there is always a brunette woman, mid-30s, sitting inside. She is well within her rights to be there. It's a public space, but just because I've never seen her before, and she keeps appearing and just sitting there, not visiting anybody or seeming to be leaving the vehicle. I started to feel a little weirded out, possibly because it's right at my house. I feel like she watches me come and go. She gave me private investigative vibes, but I do have anxiety, so maybe not. So, today I had a day off, and I had had enough of wondering, so purely out of curiosity, I decided to go and speak to the woman in the car. As I went out there, I noticed her raise her phone, taking a photo of me, maybe. I calmly went to her window and introduced myself to her. I mentioned that I noticed her in the area recently. I asked her if there was anything I could help with, kind of tried to be polite, but find out who the heck she is. She got extremely defensive and started to record me on her phone. She pointed to her back seat and told me I am waking her baby up. She told me she parks her car here under the shade of the tree. Many trees in my area, so I'm not sure this makes sense, lol. She explained that she can't get her baby to sleep, and he has severe back pain, so she can't hold the baby. To be honest, the windows were decently tinted, but I didn't see a baby in the back. I can't say for sure whether there was a baby in there or not, just that I never saw or heard one. The woman was very well dressed in a business shirt, didn't really look like a struggling mother to me, but then again, maybe she just loves to dress like that. I questioned her casually, like why she was not parking at her own house. I asked her if she needed any help and she took offense. It just wasn't adding up, so I asked a few questions like that. She got extremely angry and said I was a judgmental person for assuming she needs help. I didn't mean it in that way at all. I've had babies and totally understand how hard it can be to get them to sleep, etc. The defensiveness was a red flag to me, though. None of it made sense. Maybe my anxiety and curiosity were misplaced and I should have stayed inside. I just couldn't stand to feel watched for another second. It was driving me crazy. ATA for even talking to her? Info, both of us are white females. Edit, update added in comments. Official posts not able to be made yet due to the young age of this up. Date here wasn't allowed to make an update post yet because the original isn't old enough. Sorry for the delay with the update. I've been on and off today and been busy. Today I was out and about running errands, but my husband and I both have today off little break over New Year's, and I told him to low-key watch for if she arrives between 1 p.m. and 2 p.m. today. He told me he went outside twice during that time period to check the mail, and she wasn't there. Fantastic. I guess I scared her off. So I went out for my daily walk. Usually I go in the mornings on a workday at around 4 p.m., feeling so happy that I'm not being watched or recorded, lol. But actually my stomach dropped when I got to the end of the driveway. She was still there, just further down the street, car on, lights on. She must have arrived a little later than usual. And this time she was parked behind my next-door neighbor's fans. Found another tree, so she's not visible from inside my house anymore. Kind of eases my mind that she's not watching me directly, but I'm convinced she's watching the street, either as a whole or she's watching a particular household. It's 4 p.m. and the baby can't surely still be napping, lol. I walked off the other day, so I didn't go directly past her car, and I texted my husband to let him know she's out there and to stay inside. When I came back, she was gone. I took some pretty obvious photos just from my phone, and I'm gonna send it through to the police link. I wasn't necessarily trying to get her in trouble, but I'd like to know what's going on in case there's a reason to be concerned for safety, either mine, hers, or somebody else's. It's definitely very weird at this point. I'll update here again whenever I hear anything back.